It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. And some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but soon they will realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend of Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
Yeehaw! That's how I feel this morning. A bit of country. If you feel like country music. All right, folks. Happy Tuesday. Good morning to everyone. Hope that you guys are having a fantastic week so far. Wow. We saw that cold front coming, but it was a little bit more than expected. I am not going to lie. I was pleasantly surprised last night when I went outside and I decided to not put on any sort of a sweater or hoodie or anything of the sort, walking the dog, and was I in for a pleasant surprise? Yes, indeed. I honestly felt that chill go right through me, and I thought to myself, OMG. Who ordered this cold weather again? Come on, put it back in the genie bottle. Anyway, we're thankful for it. Nice and crisp out there. And I got to tell you the truth. I don't mind it as long as I've got a sweater or something to kind of bundle up a little bit. So I was surprised, yes, last night. And the wind chill, that wind adds a little bit of extra oomph to it. So, yeah. So anyway, I noticed that even Zeus, the dog, appeared to be, his little ears were flapping in the wind. So he was like, where's my doggy sweater? Get me inside. Well, let's check in with Shamari Scott this morning. It is Medical Rundown Tuesdays. Let's see how he is dealing with this temperature shift. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
I'm not
I
too
am
bad. How you feeling?
I am good. It's amazing. Loving the
Oh,
weather.
you love it.
I love the cool weather. I can't say I don't. I love the cool weather. So, other people bring out their jackets and stuff. I'll bear with it, and I like to feel the breeze when it's nice and cool on my skin. So it's been amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're one of those who really enjoys the cold weather.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And even when I was away at school in D-Land, I used to love when it got, because D-Land's a little bit further up in
Right.
Florida.
Yes.
During the winter season, you actually could see your breath, right? Because it's so
Uh-huh.
cold. And then sometimes the frost would freeze a little bit on the trees and whatnot. Oh, it was amazing. Loved it. Loved
Mm,
it.
nice. Beautiful. All right. Well, like I said, I don't mind it as long as I got something to cover up with. And last night I was optimistic about what it was what it was like outside. So I quite
Well,
wasn't ready.
and I'll send you some pictures because, my sister actually is in Rhode Island at the moment.
Ooh,
And
yes.
they had some blizzard. I think it's a record in regards to inches of snow based on the blizzard. And she had pictures whereby the snow was like almost up to her knees, and she was outside shoveling just to get out of her, I guess, well, she has a little bit of a porch and then a walkway, and you have to shovel to make sure, I guess, you don't get snowed in. So in the midst of, I guess, the cold, she's outside
Mhm.
shoveling. So, good old Cayman, I said, that what you get, but you won't go live up in Rhode Island. So I'll enjoy the cool weather. I'm not enjoying the cold of that type of weather, but all
Yeah,
good, all
I
good.
feel you. I feel you there. We do have some another Caymanian. Her son sent her some pictures, so we'll share those a little bit later on
I,
this
I,
morning as well. But
I am
yes,
telling you, it was to the point where they had a shovel. They forgot it outside. I guess right next to the door, but the snow kind of like covered it, so they had to go fishing for the shovel. But all good, all
wow.
good.
Oh my
And
goodness. All right.
Sandy, guess what?
Yes, tell me.
The over 40 league has restarted. I
Oh
think
my gosh.
they say it's every year, but it turns out to be more or less every 2 years. I think
Uh-huh.
they need to give us time to rest to the
Yeah.
point where we're debating, or whether or not the next one that occurs, if it's 2 or 3 years later, we might have to start a over 50 league. But
I
so
was,
you
I
go.
was gonna say, given your fitness journey, maybe you could do some like testing that says you're actually now have the body of a 35-year-old, so you can go back to the younger league.
Maybe. So we had our first game. We had our first game last Wednesday.
Congrats,
Um,
congrats.
I'm 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 still feeling a lot of the pains and aches of, because we're playing outdoor on the hard court. So you dive for a ball or two. My coach used to say, as we got older, that your mind is making appointments that your body can't keep. Right. So we're diving a few balls. So there's a few bumps and scratches and some
Mhm.
blood here and there. But yeah, we won. I can't remember the score off the top of my head. I think it was 102 to like 33. So
Mhm.
it was a it was a good game that we
Oh my gosh,
started. And
who were you playing? Sounds like you're playing
we're
some
playing.
amateurs. Like what on earth?
No man, no man, no man, no man. You remember we have pure national team players, so we're pretty good. Yeah, the team did well, but they didn't really have a lot of height, so we were able
Mm,
to beat them up on the inside. So all
okay.
good, all
All
good.
right. All right.
But
Well,
so
keep
that
it.
that was my first, seeing as football, American football is over, and
Yes.
basketball hasn't started as yet. So my Lakers haven't reached the playoffs to start as yet. I said, oh, over 40 league is here, so I'll give you an update on the over 40
Absolutely.
league. So
Yeah,
we
we
won the first two
enjoy it.
years. All right, so we won back to back, so we're going for that three-peat this year. So fingers crossed, we're able to stay healthy and able to still play well together as a team throughout the season, and hopefully we'll be able to bring home a third championship. But so it goes.
Sounds good. Well, we're all about health and wellness and
That's
fitness
right.
and get that body moving on
Definitely.
Medical Rundown Tuesdays. So we love to hear Shamari stepping it up a bit. We're living vicariously through him. Um,
Well, I'm gonna come see you on that pickleball court eventually.
yes, yes.
Yeah, after start back my pickleball, because I can't have you beating me too bad. So
Yeah.
I'll start back to get back into it.
Thanks to Dr. Naranjan, the knee is feeling pretty good these days. I test it out whenever I travel because I tend to do much more walking,
Walking, yeah.
stairs, and so this trip last week, was I noticed a marked difference in the previous times that I traveled where I wasn't quite in as much discomfort. Just a little bit
Oh,
some days when I had a really long day, but I just stretched it and next morning I was pretty much good to go. So I'm ready. Um,
awesome.
so today we've got
So
Dr.
yes.
Martin
So
joining
I
us. So tell us a little bit about Dr. Martin.
Yes, Dr. Andres Izquierdo Martin.
Okay.
So it will be his first time with us, and it's
Yes.
because, as
Hey.
you would have known, we started some new actual different areas of the hospital, especially with Command and Base. Some new, some not so new, but expanding areas. And
Mm-hmm.
it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Andres. He has over 2 decades and a half of experience from a senior consultancy perspective in emergency medicine. He has an extensive background in clinical leadership, patient safety, service transformation, which is one of the main reasons why we brought him to be a part of the team. He's our senior consultant in emergency and casualty. He
Mm-hmm.
trained in Madrid, Spain, and in the UK, he worked across some of London's largest and busiest acute centers. Additional to all of the clinical work. He served in senior roles, including clinical director, deputy divisional director, overseeing emergency services, urgent care, surgery, anesthesia, intensive care, and all of the divisions within. So it's our
Wow.
pleasure to have Dr. Andres Martin with us. He's an expert in emergency and trauma medicine, advanced resuscitation and clinical decision making, major incident planning, command and response, clinical governance, patient safety, risk management, service design, hospital flow, and urgent care pathways. He's also an expert in emergency ultrasound and echocardiography. He's a consultant for workforce development and mentorship, which is very important, and he also is an expert in medical education, simulation, and post-grad training, and also event and crowd medicine. So
Wow.
I had to put that all in because
Yeah,
Dr. Andres hasn't been on the program before,
that's
so that
right.
everybody can get a good appreciation of his expertise. Good morning,
Well,
good sir.
good morning, Dr. Andres Martin. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me in your program. I'm delighted. And you forgot also that I worked for 20 years with Arsenal Football Club.
That
That's my thing. Okay, we're going
I,
to win the
I,
league this year.
I had to leave that for you to mention because I have some
Thank you.
friends
Thank you.
that are diehard Arsenal friends that they get a hard time in one of our football groups that we have. So you
This
know.
is our year. This is going to be the one.
Yeah, so good to have you on the program today.
Thank you.
Um, wow, that's quite a resume. So welcome. I think we've got a
Oh,
little bit of feedback there, Dr. Andres. I'm not sure if that's coming through. I think it might be on your end. So just check your computer settings for me. You might have to adjust a little something on the speaker settings, but yeah,
better.
let me see. Yes, I think so.
I just put the speaker far away.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much. Let's go ahead and talk about today's discussion, which is going to be centering around concussions, the invisible injury.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
one, quite frankly, that always scares me because it really is invisible. Like when you have any sort of an injury, you slip and fall, whatever, you think, oh my God, did I just get a concussion? You don't know. So first of all, what is a concussion?
Concussion, as you saw, you're right, it's the invisible injury. You cannot see it, but definitely you can
Mhm.
feel it. A concussion is a traumatic brain injury caused by a blow, a bump, a jolt to the head that made the brain whip around the skull. It's
Mhm.
often defined as a mild brain injury. We need to be
Mhm.
careful with that. What we mean with that is usually, and then I will tell you not to panic, as you said before, usually it's not life threatening, but it's definitely you don't feel it mild. It's definitely not mild for you.
Mhm.
It temporarily affect your brain functions. Your neurons effectively just work a little bit less for a little bit of time, and
Mhm.
most of the people will recover without any trouble. We can pass the next one. Yeah, there's a
Mhm.
slide. Um, there are several myths, and we're going to be talking about some of the myths because myths are quite important to trying to understand
Mhm.
some of the myths. For example, that you must lose consciousness to have a concussion. This is not
Right.
correct. You don't have to. You
You
don't
don't have
have to have that. The next slide. If um, for example, the other thing to do is, oh, you need to have a CT scan to be able to diagnose concussion. That is
uh-huh.
also not correct. CT scans, MRI are fantastic tools. We use it every single day, and they help
Okay.
us to rule out structural changes. They help us to rule out bleeding, skull fractures, etc. But they are not very good for diagnose concussion. The concussion
Hmm.
is a clinical assessment. It's
Mhm.
not about a CT scan. It's not even about the pump size alone. Very often, and I
Mhm.
love analogies, by the way, but very often I compare it like a car. You got a nice car, you got a nice suspension, you go for a small bump. The suspension of the car is doing the job. You don't even feel it.
Mhm.
Sure, feel it, you keep going. Now it's a bigger bump. You go for the
Yeah.
bump. The car is completely intact. The suspension is doing the job. There's no damage to the car, but you feel the shaking. You feel that something has happened. That is the concussion. There is no structural damage to your car, but the system is disturbed. The brain is the function is not working properly. And
Mm.
that is what I compare to having a
Yeah.
concussion.
Hmm.
The next one, symptoms
So,
are
so
numerous,
let
and
me
that's
just
one of the
pause you,
problems. Yeah,
Dr.
please,
Martin. Let me
please.
just pause you there because I
Yes,
mean, when
please
you talk
do.
about these
Anytime, please.
myths, I thought for sure there was a way to proper, like to get a firm answer. I didn't know the diagnosis was just clinical. So that certainly has educated and cleared that up for me. So a
No,
CT
no, no.
scan and an MRI are oftentimes normal, even though a person has a concussion. Wow. Huh.
Well, by definition, most of the time they will be completely normal because a concussion by itself means there is no structural. Go back to the car
Mhm.
analogy. The car is completely fine. There is no structural
Mhm.
problem, but it's a functional problem. Somehow, some the neurons are not working properly for a while. You cannot see that in the CT scan. I'm afraid. Well, no, I'm afraid that's the way to do this. The only
Right.
way to diagnose this is through the symptoms you are reporting to the doctor and you are having and the clinical assessment. That is the way we diagnose concussion. But there
Mm.
is no test, the CT scan normal. And also
Mhm.
that's also something we can discuss later because very often you're thinking, well, I got the CT scan is normal, I'm fine, I can go back to play football tomorrow, for
Yeah.
example. And that's completely wrong. The CT scan normality does not going to tell you how long you're going to have symptoms later on. That is a very important point. Thank you for
Mhm.
remembering that. That's very, very important.
Yeah. Wow, that's
Yeah.
so good to know, and I hope that parents in particular are paying attention because children are obviously a very high risk category when it
Yeah.
comes to playing sports and activities, or just even they don't have to be a professional athlete; they just bump and fall, and they do that a lot. So it's good for parents to know some of the signs that we're going to be talking about here shortly, but to recognize that diagnosis is clinical based on symptoms and behavior. And of course, that
Correct.
makes sense why you would want someone like Dr. Martin, who has, a breadth of experience in this area, because he is going to know exactly what it is that he's looking for. All right, so let's talk about some common symptoms as well, where
Well,
someone should be concerned.
yeah, and you can see that they're very numerous, and this is only just a few of them. They are
Hmm.
numerous and also change from person to person.
Hmm.
You got physical symptoms, you have a headache, you feel dizzy, you got a little bit of poor balance, you feel very tired, you got a blurry vision, sensitivity to light and noise, some nausea,
Hmm.
you got thinking problems, sometimes you slow remembering, you got difficulty in concentrated. You got
Hmm.
emotional symptoms too. There are mood changes. You
Hmm.
feeling sad, you're feeling very often irritable.
Hmm.
Sleep symptoms. There are some persons that they will sleep more, but that's another people that will have the sleep pattern disturbed. They cannot go to sleep.
Hmm.
Again, I like analogies. I always tell my patients that concussion feels like if having a viral illness. You
Hmm.
feel tired, you feel foggy, you feel irritable, you don't feel yourself. You
Yeah.
cannot put a point specifically what is wrong with you, but the only thing you know is you know I'm right, you don't right. That
Right.
is very often what you feel. You don't feel right.
Huh.
And again, the symptoms could appear immediately
Mm-hmm.
or develop a few hours later, and usually last for a few days, very often. But a small percentage, or in more severe concussions, could last even for several weeks. We can pass the
Mm-hmm.
slides, a couple of slides.
Mm-hmm.
Then it is essential because the symptoms are so numerous and because the time to recovery may be changed person to person. It's essential to
Uh-huh.
identify the red flags. The red flags are going to be key when you need to really seek urgent or medical attention.
Right.
Then
Because
the symptoms,
most of
we can
the,
put the next slide. The next slide is very key. Please put the next slide,
yeah,
please. That's the key one.
yeah,
That's what we want the people to recognize because the symptoms are so common and so changing. Why not to be different to the other person? Why needs to just go and see the doctor or
right.
any medical attention? And
So every cut,
sometimes miss,
let me just ask this question. So every
please.
concussion is different, and every
Mhm.
patient who is having an episode is also unique and different.
Yeah,
So you shouldn't
quite right.
really base your decision on what has happened to someone else, right? It's important for you
Yeah,
to listen to your body, or if it's another person, to watch very, very closely for these red flags, because some concussions, it's okay to just wait it out. I'm asking that question. Is that right? And then others, you need to seek urgent medical care.
correct. And this is the important thing about these red flags. These red flags tell us, look, I've been told I'm not going to feel well, but somehow it's not getting better. Is something going wrong? Obviously, you got seizures and you got weakness around. You're going to go and see the doctors. But I've been told I'm going to be very drowsy and sleepy. But the drowsiness quite extreme is just not getting better. You need to.
Mm,
It's a red flag. I've been told I'm going to have a headache or likely to have a headache, but somehow my headache is getting worse. It's not getting better. You should
mhm,
just also seek attention. I've been
mm,
told I'm going to just be a little bit nauseous and sometimes vomit once, but I keep vomiting. That is not right.
mm,
The speech should be slurred. I'm more
right.
confused. In the main key message is these symptoms will gradually improve. That is what happened the vast majority of the time. But somehow if the symptoms worsen instead of
Yes.
improving, if things are deteriorating, that is the time you need to seek reassessment. And
Mhm,
that's key. Uh, and I always tell the people when they say, "Oh, well, sorry to waste your time," it's definitely never ever to waste the time. I much rather
mhm,
they come in early and for me to tell them, say, "Look, it's just taking a
right.
little bit longer. In your case, keep going." That leave it for too long,
Yeah.
uh, because this red flag is the only time that you probably can see that something is not right. This is not really progressing the same way or
Mhm.
the right way. Then this is
Huh.
very key. This one, this is very key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when I look at this list of red flags, there
Mhm.
are other things that it sort of reminds me of. So, for example, slurred speech can be a stroke, confusion, vision
Yeah.
changes. So, it can easily mimic other things as well. And that's why you need that medical expertise.
Correct. And remember, we're talking about the brain. We're talking about, oh, the brain function is a little bit impaired for a little for a short period of time. But very rarely, and this is rarely, there's no point to panic, but it's just to be aware, very rarely this could develop as something else. Somebody had a concussion, in very rare occasions, could develop a stroke later on. It's unlikely, but it happens.
Mhm,
You can have problems there later on. Funny, interesting enough, in that case, the CT scan probably was not indicated in day one because it was going to be normal, but it's definitely indicated when somebody's coming with red flags because you're trying to find is something else going on. Then
mhm,
then you see the difference there when the investigation will be indicated in one point and not the other. But these
mhm,
red flags, as I keep saying, is somebody just thinking the things are taking too long or is not progressing properly,
mhm,
please seek medical attention to reassessment, even though you're going to be told, oh, well, I cannot find anything, you're fine. You're not fine, right? You're still
mhm,
going with the concussion. It's better. It's the only time that we got to be able to act early in case something else is going on. This is rare, by the way. This is very rare. The vast majority
Yeah.
of the concussions do not have this, but
Yeah.
we need to be very careful with that.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Yeah. Yes, well,
uh,
and recovery. This is for
yeah.
the people, and I myself, when I have concussion before, I want to know when I'm going to get better, when I'm going to go out to play football, when I'm going to be fine, and it takes time. Is you cannot rush it. It's interesting because you just sprain your ankle. It's so obvious that you know intuitively, you know you need to do. Oh, I'm going to put my foot up. Oh my God, I was going to have a play football tomorrow, and now I know I cannot do it. Oh, okay, I'm going to have to rest. Nobody needs to tell you that because you know it. Somehow for concussion, this doesn't happen. Your brain needs to rest. But you're thinking, well, because I was told, for example, the CT scan is normal, I need to go back to work tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. At the same time, this is not just, I'm going to just be in a bed in a dark room for a week. Funny enough, we know from research that that doesn't work. That doesn't rest the brain as much. What it really, really help is sensible pacing, reduce the screen time, not to watch as much TV or the phone all the time. You cannot concentrate and trying to avoid that. Avoid heavier session. Doesn't mean you have to be lying in bed. That's not good either. But obviously, heavier session, maybe your normal job or a sport, don't. Sleep well. Good
Yes.
hydration. We always said that. Oh, the doctor told me again to drink a lot of fluid, but we know it works. We know that things help. Avoid obviously alcohol and sedatives, anything that will impair your brain functions, trying to avoid it. And the main thing is return gradually. And you say something that I always tell, and it's fantastic. Listen to your body. Your body is telling you what to do. If the symptoms are getting worse, if you go back to more or less normal, your body is telling you that you will start a little bit too early. You need to step back, one step back, and rest again. Just listen to that. And we're very, and starting with myself, we're very bad on doing that. We don't listen. We think we can keep going through and play through all these problems, and it doesn't help. And the question about when returning to work, school, or sport, well, it's difficult. I don't want to be able to tell you, well, by Tuesday afternoon, by 5 o'clock, you can go back. It just doesn't work like that. You need to, as we said before, it changes person to person, child by child. The return should be gradual. And definitely no contact sport until you're symptom free. That is very well known, no contact sport. And be aware of one thing, you said that before, children and adolescents will take longer to recover. It's a very well known in research because they still haven't been fully developed anatomical, physiologically, and because they absorb more from the environment, they take longer. Then do not worry, but at the same time, do not just push them as hard because they really take longer. And returning too early is very well known. You return too early before full recovery, help prolong the symptoms, and in a few small cases, will repeat the injury, and that could cause complications. Then don't, the main message is don't push it, just listen to your body. And
Yeah.
one thing I would like to say here, because the concussion symptoms, and because you've already been told often the CT scan is normal, then concussion symptoms could be seen as weakness. Oh, this is a weak guy. Oh, God, the snowflake. He just doesn't want to play. It's not like that. Reporting the symptoms, we want to encourage them for the children and for the players, for example, to report the symptoms, not to hide them because we want to be, oh, I'm going to be seen like the weak of the team. It's not like that. We know most of the people within a week, 2 weeks, they're going to get better. We know that, but not everybody. Then that automatically doesn't mean that anything, because it's taking longer, is wrong. But at the same time, it does not mean that this person is making it up or it doesn't want to go to school or something like that. It does not mean that. It really means that that person is taking longer. Then that is very key that we need to understand, and mostly on children, that they do take longer. And recovery is proper. When the diagnosis of concussion has been made, recovery is key. And I go for that for contact sports and American football, and that is very well known. There is really very clear guidelines about when to go back to practice the sport, and they are very, very well regulated because it's very well known that if you start too early, it will accumulate. This could cause more trouble later on.
Wow.
And Really,
Let me
just
ask you,
yes,
Shamari,
please.
I know you've been very active in sports pretty much your entire life. Have you ever had a concussion?
That's interesting, right? I've always been blessed in that I've never gotten a broken bone, right?
Wow.
I've had various injuries.
Mhm.
I tore a portion of my groin, bad ankle injuries, nothing too much with the knees or shoulders or wrists.
Mhm.
But from a concussion perspective, I can't say I ever had the symptoms that, later in life usually used to say that you got your bell rung, right?
Mhm.
If somebody got a hard hit on the football, meaning football with your feet, right?
Mhm.
You went up to head a ball and two heads come together, and somebody would say, "Oh, I got my head rung," and they'll sit down for a little bit, but then go back and play. I think
Mhm.
back then we probably were having some concussions that we just at that point in time it wouldn't have been diagnosed. Or we didn't know enough about it. However, myself personally, I can't say I ever had a head injury to the point where I felt any of the symptoms. So I've been blessed. I've been blessed because
Mhm.
almost all my friends that were active had at least one broken bone, right? And
Mhm.
and you can remember going through school, there was always at least one or two people in the class that had that beautiful cast that you used to sign, right? I never ever had any of that, so I've been lucky.
Interesting. All
You've
right,
been
Doc,
lucky.
let me ask you, have you ever had a concussion?
I had concussion when, yes, I used to play basketball quite a lot, long time ago. Well, yeah,
Mhm.
and yes, I have concussion. It took me quite a few weeks to go back to normal. And
Mm.
funny, interestingly enough, my daughter she played beach volleyball, and 3 weeks ago she called me because she just had a head injury playing beach volleyball, and as it happened, she's young. She just continued playing, and in the morning she had headaches. She wasn't feeling very well, but it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
She just went to play in the afternoon the following day, and she called me the following day to say, "Oh, awful! I feel awful. I feel all the symptoms you have there. She had all the symptoms, and I feel bad."
Mm.
And you have to explain. It's just the shipping told she was fine, but you had to explain that
Mhm.
this is what's happening. It took her 2 weeks to get better. She couldn't play anything at all. It took her 2 weeks. And this is very real. It happened every single day. But
Mhm.
but the main thing is we all try to just go back to work immediately the following day, go back to sports. And it's very well known that Ronnie, and it's not just Ronnie, it just will delay the recovery. You
Mhm.
thinking you are doing something good just to say, I'm going back to work, I don't want to cause any trouble. And
Yeah.
then potentially just could give you more days off. And you are not 100%. Uh,
Mhm.
and you're more likely, as a doctor, for example, to make mistakes purely because you are,
Yeah.
because you are not right. I mean, again, I
Mhm.
just look in the photo or the picture in the slide. It's like a
Mhm.
battery. Your battery on your internal phone, it cannot fully charge. It's all the time on
Mhm.
half. For a week or two, you only can charge to half. Then you're trying to go back to normal in by the middle of the morning. You cannot continue. You run out of battery, and
Mm.
that's what happened. It's just your body can't respond. Your brain is cannot function. Then it's so important to understand that and just to give it a chance to recover. And
Okay.
concussions are most of the time, the vast majority of the time, will not cause any long-term problems, but full
Mhm.
recover. But it's
Mhm.
still, yeah, it still is. Yeah, it's just it's something we cannot see. The problem is because we cannot see it, or we cannot give a piece of paper or an X-ray to say, "Oh, I got a
Mhm.
broken brain." Then somehow we think that we must be okay, and it's not okay. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
So Sandy,
All
the
right. Would
same
you?
way
Yes.
you discover something new every time we have this program. I
Mhm.
just want to say that, you know, in our over 40 league, we lose players quite often, right?
Mhm.
Due to injury. I just heard that we have an additional player that can come out for the over 40 league. You can come out, right, Dr. Andrews?
Yeah, well, yeah, I could try.
Basketball.
I can try. I mean, I'm older now, but I can still throw. I can do a triple there. Yeah.
Ah, there we go. There we go.
Yeah. I'm very happy to try. Very happy to
on
try.
the on
I
the
used to
spur
play.
recruitment efforts here by Shamari. All right, we do have a
Yeah.
caller on the line. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, caller. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, hi, Doc. I've never really had a head injury. I've broken a lot of bones, mostly as a kid and as a teenager, and lots of bones. But the topic of one of the things that you listed for recovery was rest and sleep, and that's a topic that's very dear to my heart. I have a lot of issues around sleep.
Oh.
I have sleep apnea, and I'm bipolar. I'm mostly manic. I have to take a lot of medication to sleep 6 hours, a lot. So I was wondering, is if you're aware of any natural medications or herbs or whatever that can help promote healthy sleep. One that I've discovered recently, actually, is to walk barefoot on the earth. And if you really pay attention closely, you can feel the earth's magnetic energy. So I sleep in the back in the hammock. I walk around, hang my clothes barefoot. And then I get in my hammock and have some coconut water or whatever. And I feel really relaxed, and I even doze off sometimes. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think like industrialization and getting electricity and light have kind of messed with our body rhythm also. I lived almost all my life in New York City.
Right.
I mean, it's not unusual to wash your car at 3 a.m. It's not unusual to be at a nightclub 10 a.m. It's like you never know where you are. I mean, I got to check my watch sometimes. Is it 3 a.m. or is it 3 at night? I don't know.
Yeah. Have you? I'm curious. You're sharing about your, difficulty sleeping. Have you ever tried any of the sleep lab? Health City has a sleep lab where you go there and you sleep there, and they will do a full analysis, and they have experts who specialize in that lab as well. Have you thought about getting that done?
Well, I wasn't aware of that actually. I've done acupuncture. I've done a lot of different things, and this is where I'm at right now. Lots of medications, and the sleep apnea thing. I'm supposed to sleep with this mask on, but it's very uncomfortable. So I think I wore it for a week, and then it's just sitting in my drawer. It's sitting in my closet.
Yeah. Well, that might not be a bad idea because, you've mentioned a couple things that's going on there that could definitely impact your sleep. But I think to get a more comprehensive analysis, if you reach out to Health City and do the sleep lab, my apologies, they've got several there who can probably come up with a program for you.
Do you know if that's only at Health City out of the East End, or if it also at Health City in Commander Bay?
Shamari?
Yeah, so the actual sleep lab itself is in East End. Now, depending on the level of sleep apnea and the such, there are some home studies as well. But for the most comprehensive, you would need to come to East End and sleep there for the night, and we have all of the nodes and such to be able, to your point, Sandy, to give you a full analysis of where the issues are and the potential solutions. Definitely, but it would be East End.
Well, I did have like a bunch of wires hooked up to me before while I was sleeping, and then in the end they said you need this, and they gave me the machine, the mask thing. And I also do something with neurotherapy, and they put in like a sleep mod. I watch TV, and as I'm watching TV, the machine is sending signals to my brain to change the way my informational. So anyway, he can put in like, I don't know how it works really, but they put in like a sleep module.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed I started sleeping better. But then like my mind, my neural pathways or whatever reverted right back to how they were. I don't know how to keep it that way.
Mm. All right, reach out to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And just one quick topic one quick comment on the original topic about head injuries. Of course, Muhammad Ali is probably the most famous one. But there's so many people under 30 who have head injuries and are not even aware of it.
Yep. Thank you so much. I appreciate the comments.
All right, walk and rest. Have a nice day,
my dear.
everybody.
Thank you. So let's not forget that sleep lab, I think, is really important and something that can definitely benefit someone like that caller, because they'll do a full analysis of your sleep patterns. And if you go in there with existing diagnosis, sometimes you need to confirm it, and then other times you need to get it fine-tuned a little bit. And there are options. But to his original question, I'm sure the doctor is going to say, what he was talking about was this concept of grounding, which I know some people swear by, where you walk barefoot outside and you get closer to the earth. I guess what the doctor would probably tell you, if it doesn't harm you in any way, then try anything, that makes you feel better. Doc?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't have the answer for being able to go to sleep. It's no out of reach. But I mean, every person is different. For me, to have a little bit of music before I go into sleep is really helped me a lot. And funny enough, one thing I find nowadays, and I didn't realize how noisy, obviously, it is. London, I've been living in London for 30 years. And since I came to the island, it's much more silent. It's fantastic. I'm sleeping much, much better. It's just little things like that are fantastic. One thing about sleep that it just came out. One thing that always or very often the patients tell me or the family asks me about sleeping is, can the child go to sleep after concussion? Can I let them sleep? Should I waking up the child every half an hour during the night? And the answer is yes. They need to go to sleep. Absolutely safe for them to go to sleep after a concussion. They need to go to sleep. We're talking about that. The brain needs to recover.
Yes.
And
I actually wanted to come to this.
Oh, fantastic. You got all the myths. There are so many myths.
Yeah, because this is one that I always heard, and I still believed up until this morning, is they always said, don't let the person sleep. So someone's got a concussion, you're keeping them awake, and they'd be like slapping you, like, don't, you're like, oh, mom, I'm tired. No, don't sleep. That's a myth. That's not true.
That's the very myth. And it's go back to we need the sleep to recover, we need the brain to rest, and we make just the person or the child to wake up during the night. The sleeping is fine. What it matters is monitoring. What you need to do with your child is they waking up normally? Are they more like themselves? Are there symptoms that they tell you on day one getting better? That's the important thing. But by no means let them sleep during the night after they had injury. They need to.
Yeah, they need to
go
rest.
to sleep.
So I picked a few more. I picked a few more myths because I thought we needed to add a few more to the list, because that sleep one was one that was kind of bothering me, and I'm glad that we cleared that up. So let's just go ahead and clear up a few more. You must lose consciousness is another myth.
Yeah, it's a very, very big myth. You don't need to. The body reacts in different ways, but you don't need to lose consciousness to have a concussion. That is not related to one with each other.
All right.
The second thing is quite interesting too, that you need to be hit on the head. No, you can have a whiplash injury. You can move very suddenly your head forward and backwards, and you haven't hit anything on the head, but the brain is still moved, and it's very good cushion inside, but that still may cause a concussion. Like we said before, CT scans and MRI diagnose it. They don't. It's a fact. They don't diagnose a concussion.
Yeah. Wonderful. Helmets prevent concussions.
They help you. They prevent most of the structural damage. Go back to the car the whole thing about the car being strong protects you because the car is protecting that, but it doesn't mean you don't want to feel it. You can still feel the bump or the accident or the in your body, even if the car it protects you completely. The helmet protects you. Please, by the way, my last slide, I keep talking about how to prevent it. Please wear these helmets. But it does not mean you cannot have a concussion, I'm afraid. You can still,
Although you're
I mean,
wearing a helmet.
football, American football are a typical example. The helmets
Yeah.
are fantastic. They, you can hit them and they probably won't feel it, but it still doesn't protect for concussion as very well researched. They do have
Yeah.
concussions very often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then again, going back to sleep, the concept that either you don't make them sleep or you wake them up every hour. That's absolutely false. So sleep is crucial for healing, and waking them up is not necessary if they've been medically cleared. So the body needs to recover and it needs to be able to rest to do that. Next myth is total dark room is best.
No. Well, I mean, everybody's different. It may be that you got a little bit of sensitivity to the light. You may want to put the lights down, but it doesn't mean that, oh my God, to rest your brain, you need to be sleeping, lying on the bed in the dark room for the next few days. It doesn't. It's obvious that your brain doesn't start working because you're in a dark room. It maybe even make it worse. And maybe a little bit of exercise is good, but it's not. That is very well proven. It does not help you. To everybody, one particular person may help, but the vast majority is not advice you can give it to 100% of the people. It doesn't.
Yeah. And so light activity and returning to normal routines like work and school should begin 24 to 48 hours after 24 to 48 hours of rest. Another myth is this only happens to athletes. And you just gave us an example of a car accident. Then no. Yeah.
Yes, it happened to normal work. I mean, I just have a little fall. It just happened to everybody. It could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Here's another one that tricked me. Symptoms appear instantly.
As we said, in some cases appear instantly. In many cases, I have to say, no, and even that, or no, all the symptoms appear at the same time. Then very often it happens a few hours or a day later. That is very common. Yeah. Which
All
make
right.
it more difficult to diagnose.
Yeah, of course. Here's another one. Children heal faster than adults.
The other way around.
So children and teenagers often require longer, more careful recovery periods. So, and final one here on this list is you can play through it. You mentioned that earlier. The desire to try to push through. No, not a good idea.
We all try. We all trying to be good. We all trying to go back to work and say, and just keep going. But in reality, your body is not up to it, and you're probably not helping anybody because you're more likely to make mistakes. Then no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
All
good.
right, we've got a question from one of our listeners. This person says, "Hi, Miss Andy. Can you ask the doctor a question, please? I had a concussion at work 3 years ago, and every symptom in the book presented itself: confusion, memory loss, vision issues, and it lasted for 9 weeks. I'm back to normal now. Can you ask the doctor what brain checks should be done periodically after an injury like this long term?" So do concussions have a long-term impact on your body? Are there things that you should be doing, years after to make sure that you're okay?
Go back. I mean, this is what is called post-concussive syndrome. There's very small percentage of concussions, and it's difficult sometimes to know which ones because they are not completely related to the injury was worse or better. It's just more about the each person. But some of them could last for longer, 9 weeks or even longer than that, and until they go back to normal. The vast majority of concussions go back to normal. But some of them last longer, and some of them they still got symptoms even years later. How are you going to? The thing to do is what we said before: is monitoring the symptoms, and ask for help. Have regular reviews. If that particular person have some particular problem has been having from the moment of the injury, and weeks or even years later still got it. Okay, well, the way to know if something else going on is it is still getting worse at some point. If they are changing now, what I have for the last 9 weeks now is getting worse. It doesn't matter if it's 9 weeks or 2 years. If the symptoms change, that is when you need to ask or seek medical attention. But yes, I'm afraid, and it's difficult to predict, but I'm afraid about 10% of the concussion will go beyond 2 weeks, and even a smaller percentage go beyond longer. It's a very well known, and it's difficult to predict. There is no a test, as we said before, that's going to predict you that you're going to have a problem for later.
Yes.
Yeah, it was that simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so let's
this
talk
is also
about.
Good. Tell me.
Yeah, let's talk about prevention then.
Yeah.
What are the things that you can do to help prevent a concussion?
Yeah, prevention is obviously where the right protective equipment, as we said before, it doesn't completely protect the concussion, but it protects you from the head injury itself or the structural damage of your brain, which is going to be life-threatening. Follow the safety rules of the sport. They are there for a reason, not just to make things more boring. They are there for a reason, because after all the research, then we know that there are some things that you cannot allow to continue. Don't play through in sports and in work, but don't play through on the sport. If somebody had a head injury, and in the last few years, that's becoming much more in professional football, soccer, etc. It's been very much, they will stop you. They won't allow you to continue playing for this reason, because it will add that risk to have a secondary injury later on. Obviously, use seat belt, childcare seats, etc. Reduce the fall risk, reduce falls at home. But the main thing, I think, the main thing for prevention, as I said before, hence why I wanted to the people not to think that this is weakness, is to encourage children or players or athletes to report the symptoms. If they're still having symptoms, it's a sign that we are pushing them too hard. They need to just slow down for a little bit. It won't last for long. I would say 90% of the individuals will have everything resolved in the first 2 weeks. But if they still have the symptoms, then we have to wait a little bit longer. Then the best prevention from concussion or for complications is to listen to your body and listen to your children and to the athletes later on. That's the best way.
All right, very good.
And,
so,
yes, I mean, we always open 24/7 for any advice. But just to finish there, the main key point for me is to recognize concussion. It's not about to tell everybody who with head injury got a concussion. That's not true. But if you got a concussion, to recognize it, to rest properly, and to emphasize the need to rest, and to return gradually. And if at any point it get worse, that's when you need to ask us for help. That's when you need to ask us to come, and then we'll be there to see you. The things are not getting the same way that you wanted, or you think it's getting worse. That's what we are there for, to reassure you or to help you to see what happened.
Fantastic. Let's give a final opportunity for any phone calls. 936-2626 is the telephone number. If you have a question for the good doctor, feel free to give us a call. Dr. Andres Martin joining us here, new at Health City with an amazing, resume of experience. And I want to remind our listeners that the emergency care at Health City, they have their own emergency room open 24/7. So you can go there at any time, night or day, to get assistance. So the urgent medical, any kind of urgent medical attention, this is exactly where you would go. Good morning, Miss Lucille. And we want to do a warm welcome this morning to Edith. Edith is joining us. She says that she is from Miami, Florida, but now she's living in Valdosta, Georgia. It's near Florida-Georgia line, and I started following. It's been a pleasure watching, and that her father is from the Cayman Islands, Georgetown. A lot more family from there as well, and I am still interested in meeting. Well, thank you so much. We're virtually meeting here on the Cold Hard Truth on Cayman Mall Road. So welcome, Edith. So nice to have a fellow Caymanian from abroad joining the program. We're all over the place. Shamari, you may not know this, or you may, because you went to school in the Stetson area, but I found out recently that we have a lot of Caymanians permanently residing in the St. Petersburg area. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I was like,
St. Petersburg and Tampa, all of that whole conglomerate area. Yeah, because back in the day, There
Those
was the
support-
shipping port that was
Yep.
there, so we have a lot of Caymanians. My grandfather's twin, God rest her soul, lived many years in the St. Petersburg area and
Oh.
Pensacola area. So I have a lot of family from that
Mhm.
tree. She was the twin to my grandfather, so from that tree they all were raised and born in the
Mhm.
States. So I have a lot of family up there as well. So
Wow.
yeah, even close family from
Yes.
St. Petersburg area,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I knew because I grew up in Tampa. So I knew a few in Tampa, but St. Pete, I was like, that was interesting. But as
Yeah,
you say, the ports, anywhere there was a
correct,
port, like some parts of Texas, New York,
correct.
Caymanian seamen sometimes settled in that area with their families. So, all right, Dr. Andres Martin, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We know that this was your inaugural visit to the Cold Hard Truth program. I think it was a good visit for you, and we certainly enjoyed having you on.
It's been a pleasure, and yeah, I hope to come back if you want me to. And next
Absolutely.
time I will have better lighting. I can see the light is in the wrong place. I'm not
Yes.
very good at this, and I
And then
put the light all
we'll
here.
sort out that speaker as well so we don't get any feedback.
The speaker, that's right. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Andres. Have
Thank
a
you
good
very,
day.
very much. It's been a pleasure.
All righty. And Shamari, just to clarify, is he at both locations or is he primarily at
So
Cayman?
he's primarily at Kamana Bay, but
Okay.
but obviously he's a part of the team that also assists in East End as well. So
Okay.
it's one team, and we have split persons at both locations.
Yes.
And you see that he has a lot of experience in patient flows and management and such across various locations. So, that's
Mhm.
one of the many reasons why we brought him to be a part of the team.
Mhm.
And so, a lot of times when people hear emergency room, they don't quite understand, but it's urgent care as well. So
Mhm.
any ailment you have that you feel you need to see a doctor and it's outside of hours, you can, show up at Kamana Bay and or East End, and
Mhm.
will be able to at least triage and figure out what's wrong or see if you need to see another specialist. But for the most part, we'll be able to definitely take care of you.
Mhm. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Shamari, and good luck. When's your next
So
basketball
it's
match?
next.
Weekly?
We have one break, and that's this Wednesday. But after that, it's every Wednesday. So
Okay.
you'll be getting an update a week after the Tuesday after the Wednesday.
Yeah.
But
All
yeah,
right.
so next week Tuesday you won't get an update because the game is Wednesday, but the week after,
Following week. Fantastic.
definitely.
All right.
All
Take
right.
care of yourself, stretch, and, do Tai Chi, all the
Yeah,
easy stuff for when you get
yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah,
field.
yeah. Stretch and not too many sudden movements. We have enough subs that we can sub in and out, so we're not killing ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Shamari. Have a wonderful week. All right, folks. Edith says that she's got aunts left in the Cayman Islands, lived in Tampa. One lives in Tampa. Oh, sorry. Two aunts, I think that is left Cayman. One lives in Tampa. One lives in Miami. I'm this summer to find two brothers of mine from Cayman too. Can't wait. They never met me. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Family reunion time. That's fantastic. All right. Let me just see here. So I just want to remind people, just as a FYI, if you call me during the show, I can only assume that you want to be on the show. So sometimes you send voice notes. Obviously, I can't listen to a voice note when I'm live unless you want all of Cayman to listen to it with me. And I think sometimes that's not the case. You don't want that. So just as a reminder, because I get a lot of messages during the show, and I'm thinking, is this a voice note for the show? Are you calling to be on air? Sometimes I'm not really sure. So somebody called this morning, 876, our hotline, zip code 876. People always calling from Jamaica, numbers always calling us. And so they call in, and I said, we're on air. And then they sent a voice note. So I'm like, is that voice note to be played on air? I'm not really sure. So yeah, I'm going to ask one of our CMR team members to listen to the voice note for me so that I can figure out if this person wants to go on air. Okay. All right. Because otherwise I have no clue. And apparently, if you have regular WhatsApp, you guys can do you can ask WhatsApp to read or translate the audio for you, and it'll put it in text. I use business WhatsApp, so that's one of the features that isn't available in business WhatsApp, which kind of sucks when you think about it. I would have thought business WhatsApp would have that feature and more, but no, honey child. All right, let's talk a little bit about the weather. Crispy, honey child. Let me just show you guys what the Caymanian sent through. Their son is in Dartmouth, and they said that this is the most snow that they've received, and they actually have Cat 2 winds, the snow expected with winds of a Cat 2 hurricane. Say what? OMG. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to have snow, and it's one thing to be cold. But to have Cat 3 or Cat 2 winds to go with it? Brr, what on earth are y'all saying to me? All right, have a listen or look at these videos that were sent through. Big shout out to Miss Anne, who shared these videos from her son. Look at this. Wow. Look at the wind. Nosa? All the trees are like barren. Snowed in. Look at the front porch. Look at the snow on the front porch. Here's another one. Send me your pictures and videos because I'd love to see them. Caymanians, bearing this weather overseas. Look at this view. Those trees still have a little bit of limbs on them. They're still full. They're obviously winter trees. One of the things that I noticed when we were in Tampa the other day is the whole place looked burnt. All of the grass, the trees, everything. And of course, that's what cold weather does to the plants. It just burns them out. And so everything was burnt. There was little green. But of course, we know when spring comes around, all of that will return. But that's pretty amazing. Wow. We'll post that up on social media. Thank you so much for sharing. And that's his yard. So you can imagine. Okay. So the message was something about Northwood Prison. All right. Oh, we got more pictures here. OMG, look at the snow. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Like, I want to be in snow like this just once in my lifetime. Just so I can say, I remember the snowstorm of 2026. Now have a look at these pictures. Again, Caymanians living overseas, having to weather the storm. Look at this. It looks beautiful though. It is nice and fluffy. And so there's the porch view. Child, you are not going out in that. You got to make sure you got proper heaters. And, in snowstorms like this, unfortunate part is the power normally goes out. So look at that. Everything covered in snow. Cars. Look at how far up the light pole it is. And as you can see, she's cleared a little patch there, and it's all the way at least to her knees, if not a little bit above. That's how deep the snow is. Wow. That's crazy. All right, let me just do another quick one here. Yep. A little passageway cleared there. You're not going nowhere, child. Don't bother clearing that. Get back inside. And of course, one of the issues with being in the US is the snow plowing. A lot of those, unfortunately, are no longer running because of, government cuts and that sort of thing. So it's pretty wild. Okie dokie. Smoky. Beautiful, though. I like to look at it. I got to tell you the truth. And like I said, I wouldn't mind being in it like once, just one time. It's not something I would live in and want to deal with like every single winter because yeah, not up for that kind of weather. All right, 936-2626. Telephone lines are open this beautiful Tuesday morning. Let's go ahead and see what's trending in Cayman news for today. So first of all, there's a couple things that happened last week, and I do want to just kind of make some corrective statements. So last week, and we are planning a show around minimum wage and cost of living for businesses. We're going to have hopefully the chamber representatives on the program and some business owners and others having a discussion about what is driving up the cost of their business. So one day last week, I did have a gentleman reach out, and I'm sure he's probably listening to the program this morning, and he was complaining about a local vendor. Oh, we got more pictures. Hold on. Oh yeah, I want to show you guys this one. This looks cool. All right, but he was complaining about a local vendor and the price that he's paying extra for lettuce and tomato. Naturally, we had to reach out because, you know, we want to find out. Lettuce and tomato, what? And so we've got a response. I'm going to give you guys an update on that here this morning as well. But here's a few more, just in case you were minded to complain about Cayman's weather. Let me share a few more true winter photos with you. Look at that. As you open the door, you can't even open the screen door because the snow is packed right up against it. Oh my gosh. Yes, sir. And here is a view of the door from the outside. Looks like it's frozen shut. Yeah. You know, I wonder what materials they use that are different in these kind of snowy areas to ensure that the homes can sustain all of this snow and the defrosting. And, you know, you can imagine the icicles and things probably freezing a little bit differently. So I'm sure the material might be more weatherproof than what we have here in the tropics. So look at this one. People out for a little trek. Got their hiking gear on, trying to go through that snow, and that's the path that they're leaving. Now, you know, these people must be serious about their exercise, honey child. They got on their little, it looks like are they wearing just regular shoes, or do they look like they are about to go skiing? It's kind of hard to tell. I think it's just regular, like winter shoes. So they decided to go for a walk in the middle of the snow. Okay, ambitious number two. This is someone who's very ambitious. Ambitious number one and ambitious number two. And they must really enjoy this weather and want to get out and do a little bit of exercising while they're at it. Don't go too far, honey child, because, you know, although in this video I don't see a whole lot of wind in areas that are having, you know, category 2 winds, you don't want to mess with that being outside. Stay inside because not only is it cold and a lot of snow, but you've also got the possibility of debris potentially flying around in those crazy winds as well. Irvin says seems like they might be going for a little skiing. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Edith says that Georgia and the northern part has had snow as well. Nice. So I'm enjoying the Cayman breeze. And in fact, I wish I could open my windows because I want some of that freshness to come in. But boy, we have like the hardest windows to open. I discovered that during COVID. I tried to open up the windows. You know, they were like, open your windows, get fresh air in. Jeez, they are very, very difficult to open. And then to close back, forget about it. I couldn't get them closed. So I don't know if I want to take that chance because I might not be able to close them back again. Anywho, let's go back to the receipt debacle. Let me just pull up the receipt here. And we're going to talk a little bit about this. So I did want to give you guys an update on the situation. So the gentleman did send through his receipts for me. They were a little bit crumbled up and they were, give me one second here. They were also, receipts are done on that thermal paper. So after a while, it's a little bit difficult to read them. So he's had his receipt for a little minute. Then let me just get these notes together here. And so, yes, it was a little bit difficult to read, but I could see where they itemized it and where indeed he was charged extra for, because it has it listed. You can't really see the price, but he said it was $1. And so that's fine. We'll take his word for it. So here's the receipt. Yep, he sent us evidence. And then it says, it's kind of hard to read what he ordered, but let me do my best. 1 second here. Let me do my best. So it says, drive through. This is at Popeyes, bacon cheese combo, right? Bacon and cheese chicken sandwich, no pickles. Then he did small Cajun fries and the 7-Up. So that was the combo. But, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not really a person who knows these menus that well. Occasionally I go to Popeyes. If I want chicken, like fast food chicken, I'm going to go to them because, like I said, the other one kind of upsets my stomach. I don't really know why, but it does. So what I have discovered, so yes, he got lettuce and tomato, and he was charged $1 each for the lettuce and tomato. Here's the thing. He actually got 2 bacon cheese combo sandwiches. And then one of them, he added lettuce and tomato to one and cola champagne small. All right. So here is what we have discovered after reaching out to Popeyes to inquire about this. Apparently, there's a logical explanation. Mm-hmm. So the explanation is this. He added those to his order. So remember, I was thinking to myself, and he kind of, when he said it, I'm thinking, wait a minute, you're getting a sandwich that comes with lettuce and tomato, and they're itemizing and charging you for the lettuce and tomato? Well, apparently not. So I hope the listener, I meant to reach back out to him, but hopefully he's listening this morning. Apparently that's not what's happening here. This particular sandwich, and as I say, I don't want to tell people I'm an expert on their menu because I'm not. But what I understand is happening here is that this particular sandwich does not come with lettuce and tomato. So this was an add-on to that combo meal. Now, in all fairness, I think we mentioned this the other day. In all fairness to these businesses, they pretty much always, when you add on something, they always charge you extra. Yeah. So not entirely surprised by that. And so that's what this is. Because the only 2 sandwiches that I know, and again, I'm not like a huge fast food person. So, I normally get the same thing over and over again. So I've never had this sandwich ever. So I don't even know what the sandwich is. Now I know there's somebody listening right now who's like, oh, I'm going to go try that sandwich today. Last week we were talking about something and someone messaged me and said, Sandy, all this talk about Popeyes made me so hungry. I'm going there right now. So I've never had this bacon cheese combo. So I don't know anything about it. But apparently the bacon cheese combo does not come with lettuce and tomato. And, as you look at the receipt, it's kind of obvious that that's the case now when you think about it and you have the receipt in front of you, because yes, he ordered 2 combos, bacon cheese combo, one, both with no pickles. They sound like me. I'm always like, no pickles, please. But yes, both with no pickles. And then the second combo, they added lettuce and tomato, hence why you paid extra for it. So that makes sense. I mean, listen, I told you guys before, I go and order a extra bag of nuts with literally 4 or 5 pieces of nuts in it, and I'm paying 75 cents. I haven't ordered it in a while. It's probably gone up now. It's probably $1, $1.25. And that's from another fast food place when I get the salad. So yeah, honey child. you order extras, and to someone else's point last week, they said, Sandy, people should stop. They should stop ordering stuff or taking stuff that they don't need. So I do that too. Like the times, Gianna gets a little treat on Fridays. So sometimes she wants to go get chicken nuggets or whatever, and she doesn't have the sauce. So when she doesn't have the sauce, I don't make them give me a sauce, because that's wasting supplies for them. They have to pay for everything. The cups. Have you ever wondered where, when you go to the gas station or you go into a store, even if you want a cup of water, they're like, oh, yeah, you got to pay for the cup. Especially if they're franchises, they really get charged for every little thing. So, yeah, honey child, they have to pay for it. Guess what? They're going to add on and pass that on to you. So in all fairness to this company, I think that is a fair assessment. And in fact, the owner said this, as it does, it has now gone up an additional 25 cents. Caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Ms. Sandy. Good morning to you and to all your listeners.
Thank you so much.
I was just thinking if the orders for the combos he requested with no pickles, but they still charged him with the same price. And then when he ordered or requested for no lettuce and tomatoes, then could they not have just maybe exchange the price for the pickles for those two, because they won't put the whole littles on the sandwich. It's just a list. It's just a list.
I take your point about pickles, and you know what? I honestly think that probably pickles are not a very expensive. Probably what you pay for pickles is pennies on the dollar kind of vibe, right? But on the other hand, lettuce and tomato most likely comes at a premium cost. But I do take your point. I mean, take off 10 cents for the pickles or whatever. Because it's funny because I'm a person who I don't actually like pickles on my sandwiches, generally speaking. So I always say I take off onions and I take off pickles. And so it seems like when you take stuff off, though, they don't really give you a discount for taking stuff off. But definitely when you add stuff, they will add on a price.
Yeah. And another
that's the nature of the restaurant business, I guess.
For $2, you have made an unhappy customer, which could have or who could have come back again and again if they had not this very not nice experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the most important thing is for people to know in advance how these things work.
Oh,
so that, and that
too.
is why I wanted to come back and clarify what the response was that we got from the company, so that going forward, this caller, that caller, anybody else who's looking to add on something will at least at the very minimum know that, you're adding on, you're going to be charged.
Yes, true. Thank you.
You're most welcome. And there are some sandwiches that come with lettuce and tomato. So I know that when you get the deluxe, that's already got, lettuce and tomato on there. So yeah. What a hot mess. So Drone came in asking the same question. No pickles. How come they didn't deduct $1? Again, I don't think pickles is quite as expensive as tomatoes and lettuce. And I don't know, honestly, what has been happening with the lettuce industry, because sometimes there are actual things that do occur in the industry that make it very, very difficult for, tomatoes are a crop that oftentimes will have issues. So you'll find that a lot of times they're more expensive. Yeah. So I don't know. What a hot mess. Carib guy says KFC needs to count their days. Oh, Lord. I ordered a 2-piece spicy chicken and was told I can't get hot sauce because it does not come with the meal. Why should customers have to pay for hot sauce? So Carib, you're hot, you want spicy chicken and hot sauce? You're going to add hot sauce on top of spicy chicken? Lord have mercy. Your poor stomach must have a hole in it. What? I hear you, Carib. And, like I said, a lot of times we say no to sauces because condiments, okay, you're ready at a fast food joint. So you think, what's a couple more calories? But sometimes you can save a few calories by not adding anything else like sauces and stuff like that. But Caribbean people, Carib guy, they be walking with the hot sauce bottle. Now, don't play with them. They're like, look, I got hot sauce in my backpack and my handbag. They are ready to go when it comes to hot sauce. Let me see here. Irvlin says, but why advertise a sandwich with everything for a price and then charge for it? Not fair. Well, no, I mean, listen, you got to look at the menu. I mean, like I said, I don't know the menu specifically enough, but there are certain things that do not come on the sandwiches. So there's like, okay, the only sandwich I've ever had from Popeyes is the regular chicken sandwich, right? But I do know for a fact that one chicken sandwich comes deluxe, comes with lettuce and tomato, and maybe pickles, I can't remember, but definitely lettuce and tomato. And then the other one, which is the regular chicken sandwich, does not come with any lettuce and tomato. So I always get that one for Gigi because she doesn't really like lettuce and tomato on anything really. So she's not going to eat it quite like that. The only tomatoes she likes is from her homegrown garden. She's like, I like Dad's tomatoes. So here's the other thing that we got some additional information on. We're not in the business. So I think it's important to know how these things operate because we're not in the industry. Right? So yeah, why not? So apparently some of the additional information I got is that it's 2 ounces of lettuce measured. Listen, you got to talk to the experts. I've never ran a business before. I've never ran a franchise. So there's only so much I can speculate about that actually happens, right? So when I inquired, they said to say it's a little bit of lettuce is also incorrect. It's typically 2 ounces of lettuce. They measure in this honey chow, measured, and every ounce we pay almost $8 for a head of lettuce in this country. Lettuce ain't cheap, okay? So they say that they pay almost $8 for a head of lettuce in this country. And they go on to say, I think I get people are fatigued and frustrated by what is seen as nickel and diming. And we need to ask a government who promised to address the cost of living. And what has happened is every price that they have, they raise. So I think it's going to be passed on to the consumer and people aren't coming in and ordering the deluxe. If they order a deluxe sandwich, it is priced with lettuce and tomato. And if you didn't order a deluxe and you order a barbecue sandwich and then add stuff to it, yes, they are going to be charged for the extras that they're adding to it. All right, caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Hey, morning, Sunday.
Morning, dear. How are you?
I'm not bad. I was trying to write, but yeah, anyway, I just said, let me just call. I don't understand why I understand why it's a topic, and I'm glad that you kind of got it cleared for the guys with
I think we wanted to clarify it.
Yeah, because people, what happens? It's just a human thing. People don't tend to read like what they should be reading, and those when you pull up and you see those menus, it's clear. It doesn't say that it comes with everything, so that's a no. That's why you have what you call add-ons. I remember when we had a restaurant, our plates were huge, and I mean they got a lot of serving. So, for example, if someone came and they decided they wanted to diet that week, and they said, oh, they wanted the chicken, but no rice, just lettuce and tomato. Not knowing, again, that same lettuce and tomato cost more than the rice. You understand what I'm saying? Like the cost factor of it, but that didn't mean that the price was going to change. If it was $10, sorry, $8 and $9 for the whatever the chicken was, just like curry chicken, rice and bean, it came with 2 sides and whatever. And the person opted to not take all of that. They just wanted lettuce and tomato, or just even said no rice. They just wanted the bread kind on the side, whatever. It didn't change the price. The price stayed the same.
Yeah.
But now if you come and if you want something different, now you adding on more stuff than what, it's extra from what you're already getting. That's obviously add on. So I don't understand why people would think that it's the same.
think,
right now, for I think it's what Burger King has. They no longer have bacon, egg, and cheese croissants anymore. You have to add on if you want the bacon. That's add on now. Because remember it was 2 for $6 or something. So it's like egg and cheese, and that's maybe ham and cheese. But bacon's not in it at all. So you ordering that now. Remember that was actually a combo. Was actually a sandwich order. Now it's an add-on. So everything is changing. I'm so glad. People tell me all the, I miss your restaurant. I don't. I don't miss it.
I was going to say that
trust me, every
the
day
restaurant business is so difficult.
It's not easy. And what happened? Everything was fine up until COVID.
COVID made it worse.
We did go through during COVID.
Yeah.
After COVID, but what happened is after COVID died off, with the wholesalers, they didn't drop their prices. They kept the same COVID prices. What they literally went up triple. I am not even exaggerating. They went up triple the cost on everything. So I use one thing as an example. Oil. You can't put a price on oil. You're just using the oil to cook with. Oil before COVID used to be $24.75 to be exact. The same oil went up to $75. So me now as a little small person that I not got no 7 Mile Beach restaurant. I just got my little restaurant there in my yard. Just a small hole in the wall. So going from $24.75 to $75, I think some of them went up to $79. That was just oil, son. I use that as one example. Oil alone.
Yeah.
The containers, don't even try to start talking about the containers. The people not eating the containers. The food going in the containers before COVID, it used to be $26 for a case with 200 in it. After when COVID came in, the cases went up to $7 to $9, $6 to $9, and to this day, they're still in the 40s, 40-something, 49, I think it is. So you imagine when you gotta be buying the things that the people not eating, they're not eating them. So, and I always try to keep my prices reasonably low because I didn't have all the overhead what a restaurant had. I go at my home, my place it's not in my house, but I wasn't paying rent for it. It's on the all by itself, but I didn't have all that overhead.
Yeah,
and
I mean, here's the thing about it, right? I think that unfortunately, a lot of people simply do not know what it is to operate in that business space, in that industry. And so, in all fairness to restaurants, I have always said that in my humble opinion, the little that I do know, restaurants are one of the most difficult businesses to be in terms of turning a profit. Very, very difficult. And so, and I always said, Sanders, it is only so much a person could pay for later food. So even if you said, Jesus, I got have raised 50 cents, I got raised $1, and you try raise it, I thought used to feel so bad just in a prevent for years when it didn't trouble my prices till I couldn't do it no more. It just got so ridiculous. And like I said from the get-go, they did not even try to put back down the prices for people to survive. But I don't regret it. I did it. It's over. That was a part of my life now, and I love my little my laundromat. I love it. No stress. I not got to worry about all that no more. But just saying that to say is nothing is the same like how it used to be, and it can get even worse. Things are going on. It just keep going up. Unfortunately. Yep. Thank you, my dear. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, darling. Another caller on the line. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sunday.
Morning, dear. How are you? I was wondering if you're listening to us this morning.
Yeah, man. I just listen to all the jobs and stuff, right? But they still get what you're talking about, because guess what now? If they read it, I think you post up the ticket, right? The receipt I gave you, right?
Yes.
Okay, on that receipt, if they go back like the last year, that was never on the receipt. They'd never charged you for less than
Well,
tomato
he
because
said,
the
let
sandwich
me
sorry.
clarify. The owner of the business said it was $75 before, and they have charged for it. So either one or two things has happened. Number one, they weren't itemizing it on the receipt. That's entirely possible. Or number two, you just never noticed it. So I think those are the only two possibilities. If you're saying that you've never seen it on the receipt before, maybe it didn't hurt as much when it was 75 cents. Now that it's $1, maybe it's hitting you a little bit different, you know, with everything else going up. But he said that it was actually 75 cents previously. So it has gone up.
I won't say yes, son, the cost of living is going up worldwide. Right? We all understand this. Things you can't be paying $1 and charging 50 cents. Yeah? But what I'm saying is, the same sandwich I ordered, it comes with condiments. It comes with pickles, right? Last year, when I used to order my sandwich, I don't eat pickles. I said lettuce and tomato. The price was always the same price. It was never no $1 or $2 extra added to it. I am 100% sure of this. Yeah? Okay. No problem. There's a cost of doing business. Yeah? Okay, fast food for me is like this, right? It has to be cost effective first thing for me. That's what fast food was. Okay, if I can go to Burger King, I can buy a burger patty, I can buy the bun, I can put it together, I can have couple burgers out of it for that same price. Yeah? Now, nobody in the world is going to buy a head of lettuce for $60. And you're talking about 2 ounces per leaf? That's impossible. I can buy one right now and so you say it's not 2 ounces of lettuce they're giving you. They didn't even give you a half ounce of tomato, much less. So, like I said, it's not cost effective. And then you're showing it to me that you're basically robbing me because I'm going to pay, if I buy that burger a couple times, I'm going to pay $60 for a head of lettuce. I'm going to pay about $15 to $16 for one tomato. So it doesn't make sense. So,
well,
as you say,
I mean, like
within business, there's a cost of doing business, you know?
Yeah.
And the restaurant business is a high cost of doing business because food spoils faster than anything else, right? So you may buy up all this produce, the fridge go bad at night, it all spoils.
Yeah.
Who you getting charged the customer after? Yeah, so there's a cost of doing business. You have to absorb some of the cost of certain things when you're doing it.
Well,
that's how it works.
let me put it this way. If you're in the business, right? If you're in a business, you will know that ultimately the customer pays for everything. That's how you turn a profit. If you tell a business now, and this is where again I try to look at it obviously from the consumer's perspective, but also even as myself as a business owner, I know the real reality of doing business. And that's why I would never, I love throwing down sometimes in the kitchen. People always just say to me, oh, you should open a restaurant. I would be like, who? You're not talking to me. You couldn't pay me money to open a restaurant because I know of all businesses how difficult the overhead is in relation to the restaurant business. I was so glad that last caller, who was a small restaurant owner, local food, called in and shared that with us. Because to be fair, there's a lot of hidden costs that the average person never thinks about when it comes to that particular type of business, right? Especially
100%,
if you are a franchise owner.
But like I was saying, they throw away food every day.
I'm sure they try not to throw it away because wastage.
Sandra, listen to what I'm saying. Please. They throw away food every day that they prepare to sell. Yeah? The reason why? Because it didn't all sell off or something went bad or whatever it is. But they feel that they wasn't good. So what they gonna do? Waiting they gonna do? Put all our food in the freezer and the fridge for the next day? No, they got to throw it away. They absorb that cost. They're not going to charge with the customers tomorrow because I threw away 20 pounds of rice because nobody bought for me 2 days, whatever it is. No. You can't do that. You have to. I used to run a business. And I absorb a lot of costs when customers do stupid things because they have this little niche that they say the customer is almost always right. You realize I said almost always right. So that's where you absorb. Somebody buys something and bring it back and it's not the way that they bought it and it doesn't work for them. They're going to say, they want a refund. So you give them a refund. most people charge a 60% or a 50% or a 20% restocking fee. I didn't do that. Yeah. So people can buy from me, go to the next door and say, okay, they found it cheaper, and bring it back and say, okay, I don't want it, and they already throw the package. So what do I do with that?
Well, like you said,
so that's absorbing. I'm not going to charge the next customer because that customer did that.
Well, most businesses, and this is why they stay in business, have a way of getting that money back. Even Amazon. Do you see how Amazon does their returns? And there are some times when Amazon will tell you that it makes 0 cents for you to return an item because the cost of them paying for the shipping, receiving it, trying to handle it again is way more than the cost of the actual item. There's 100%. A whole, you should go on YouTube. I'll see if I can find the link and send it to you, because there's a whole, series that was done on how Amazon handles returns and how it's impacting the environment, because a lot of times it doesn't make any sense. So they just say, throw it in the garbage. And it ends up in the landfills and the dumps. And they're like, oh my God, why would you why would you be doing that? And it's because the volumes that they deal with, it literally makes no sense. You gotta send the box back. You gotta package it. You got shipping costs. And so there are times that they will actually tell you, don't even send the package back. Just keep it. Now, one of the ways that they have tried to offset the return business is, I don't know if you're aware of this, but they actually have one in Tampa. They have these deals, and they call them deals and something outlets, where you can actually go to an Amazon brick and mortar store, and that brick and mortar store only deals with like packages that have been returned. And so you get it at a fairly good price, but you know it's an open box item. Have you seen those stores?
Yeah, but you can buy the pallet buy. But that's the pallet buy.
No. You're buying individual items.
No, but from Amazon, they have this thing called pallet buy. And what that is, those are rejected or returned stuff that they have there on a pallet. And basically, you're buying blind. You're buying everything is already in the boxes.
Yeah.
So you're buying a crate.
No, but
so
this isn't a crate. This is just, you just go in and I've been to the one in Tampa.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, but they have this system also online that basically is like, like when you do warehouse shopping, like people have their storage bin that they're repossessed and they're going to sell them out. They auction them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they don't tell you what's inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you're bidding on a storage room that's there.
This isn't
with Amazon.
This isn't quite like this, because you can look at the product and you can see what box is in and whatever.
Okay.
It's just that it's already an open product, but it's something that someone has returned. Like you said, sometimes it's just, not what they thought it was going to be or whatever. And I had to do a return to Amazon the other day. I had bought this little USB dongle when I was overseas, and it didn't work. It wasn't the right model to work with the device that I had. And so when I went online, I said, I want to return it. One of the first questions they ask is, do you have the original packaging and the manual and everything? And thankfully I had everything still, so I could package it just like it was brand new. So all they had to do is rewrap it when they got it, and they could turn around and sell it. So they said, please put it back in the original packaging and send it to us.
Okay, Sandra, let me come full circle with why I gave you that receipt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in these times, right, penny pinching, I need more information. I need more information when I'm purchasing. Yeah. You can't change certain things overnight, expect to buy it. And then the next thing, I will never, ever, ever buy a head of lettuce for $60. Never, nowhere in the world. So I feel I was duped. Yeah, I feel I was duped. So anybody else who don't feel that way, I feel that way, because when I do the calculation, it does not make sense. So I would never spend $1 on that again. So that was just my personal observation. Who wants to say they love Popeyes? I love the Popeyes too, but no.
It's not even about that, right? Like I said, listen. When I go to Wendy's and I get the little salad, right? I like to have extra nuts, because I find the little bag they give you just not big enough. So I order extra nuts. It used to be $75. I don't know what the going rate is, because I haven't really had a salad in a while from there. But if I go there and it's now $1 and $1.25, and that's, literally you get like 4 or 5 pieces of nuts, And
but Sandra, like I said before, in love, Okay, put it this way then. I put it in Cayman terms. I can get a nice small plate of oxtail from corner store for cheaper than that.
But
I can get it from
that is
Mango Tree for cheaper than that. Hold on. But it costs more to make those. Do you know much for oxtail? $10 a pound.
No, but you can't
Do you know
look
for the
at it.
rice? No, but I have to tell you, I have to look at it that way. I got buy the rice, but I can buy a 6-pack of bun. I can buy but the chicken tender, whatever it is, but the chicken breast tender, I can put that inside my thing and do the same thing. Buy a whole head of lettuce and a whole tomato, and I make a couple of burgers out of that. Well,
yeah, but listen to me now.
No, I not spend it like that.
No, but that's your choice. You have to, as consumers, you have to make decisions. But I also know. Let me just say this. I also know that there are things that these Burger Kings, Popeyes, Wendy's, Domino's, all these people, they have more expense. You're saying that okay, the food is cheaper for Wells or Mango Tree to make. That is one expense. Mango Tree and Wells are not paying a franchise fee. You know what the franchise fee is for some of these companies?
No, some of them be big enough, but that's because of doing business again.
Exactly. But their cost of doing business is passed on to you, the consumer. That's how you turn a profit.
Well, I won't be the consumer like that. I won't be the consumer.
Listen to me then.
That's what I'm telling you.
The locations that they have, right? On the waterfront, Central Georgetown. Listen, this not down in Swamp, not down Seymour Drive, off the beaten path. They're paying a premium price and rent to have those locations as well. I'm just saying, let's be fair to them and understand that we're not comparing apples to apples, right? So we can't say,
no.
We're not cheaper to make. So therefore, it's not just about the cost of food.
Oxtail is more expensive to make, not cheaper. It's more expensive to make the oxtail.
But there's a lot of other costs.
Don't play with the oxtail.
But there's a lot of other costs that those businesses are paying.
I know that. I know that the franchise.
Even the amount of staff. Guess what? You go to Wells. You know how long you stand up, then wait for a plate of that oxtail. First of all,
I call in.
Then you try and hush with your lies because you know they don't answer no phone.
No, well, I call 10 times, get through one time, and order my food.
I call all 30 times and no one answering. So I don't know what make you so special.
I got personal number, man.
You see what time you know?
Right? But with the food thing, right?
When you go through that drive-through at Popeyes, if it took you 20 minutes to get your food, you'd be up in arms, wouldn't you? Okay, then.
It happened before.
During the grand opening, because all y'all wanted to be up in the
No, not grand opening. Before all these price hikes for December.
Well, I've never been anywhere and waited for 20 minutes.
No, but what I'm saying, before the price hikes and that came to 12 something for the sandwich from 6 something, the chicken wings from 6 something to 10 something. They used to always have a line on the weekends, especially Friday.
Yeah, I mean, they still got one now.
No.
I be passing
end of the week.
No, I be passing the one up here. I don't know about Eastern Avenue, but I know the one up Prospect.
No, I live in Prospect, love. So Fridays, I have to pass that one every day.
Listen, Caribbean people
I know you stay close to me, man.
Caribbean people love fried chicken on a Friday. I don't know why, but that's their thing.
I know you can't,
No, that upsets my stomach. I can't. Something with their oils, I think. But anyway, leave me there.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. 936-2626 is his cell phone number. I mean, listen, as consumers, we all have a choice at the end of the day, right? And you can't look at the superficial numbers and think you know what's going on with a business. Anthony says, if the caller only know the big debt Mango Tree restaurant is in, the food business is not easy. Debt, I would have thought that they would have been paid off a long time ago, but this is what I'm telling you. You can't look at any business on the outside and make assumptions about what they make and what they don't make. Strong Wilt says, Gigi love hot sauce. She's Indian. No, she doesn't. She don't like nothing spicy, child. I swear that child be eating stuff that has no spices on it, and she be telling me it's spicy. I'm like, girl, can you stop it? And funny enough, her father doesn't like spices either. His mother had 4 boys. 2 like it hot and 2 do not. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Whilst I share in the annoyance of having to pay additional coins for ketchup, well, I'm not a hot sauce person, but that's how it works. We have to realize that those places have to pay for those cases of condiments that they bring in. They don't get that from their suppliers for free. And they pass on those costs. Now, what most places will, most franchises especially will do, is build in the cost of those condiments and whatnot into the price of the combo or whatever the case may be.
Unless you're doing it as an add-on.
Some people that need 20 packets to catch up.
Yeah, right.
And they're not going to give you that. And I also, a lot of Caribbean people do not realize this. It is, and these are American franchises, obviously, right? Americans don't, it's a Caribbean thing for us to eat fried chicken with ketchup. That is not an American thing. When they provide ketchup in the US, it's for your French fries. It's not necessarily to go with your fried chicken or whatnot. So when that is why a lot of times when you go to KFC, they'll give you 2 packets of ketchup for one meal, because the price built in for those condiment packages are for the fries. It's not being built in for the chicken. So when you want, like me, 10 more packets of ketchup, they're charging you, well, I don't know what they charge now. It used to be 10 cents per packet. So when to answer the person's question, why can't I get the spicy sauce with my spicy chicken? The straight up answer to that is that it's not included in the cost of the combo, and they have to buy it, and it's not free, so they're passing that cost on to you. We don't enjoy it, but that is the answer of the question. To answer the question, because it all boils down to economics, and nobody goes into business to lose money. I heard what that previous caller said about him having a business and having to absorb some costs.
But he also said he used to have a business.
And that was going to be my next question. How profitable has that business been? Is it still in business? And how is it doing financially? Because when you end up doing too much favors, you go under. And we see companies go under all the time. We see companies go bankrupt all the time. Anyway, that's my rant today. Happy Tuesday. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you, honey child. I appreciate it. So yes, I think the big thing here, and I was kind of curious when he said he used to be in business. I didn't want to go too deep down his rabbit hole, but I'm curious to know what type of business he used to have and what happened to the business. I mean, come on now. These are fair questions. And so let's talk about some of this, because I don't think anybody's doing anything unique here in the Cayman Islands when it comes to the restaurant business. And I'm glad that caller pointed out that a lot of these franchises are American franchises, and they have to, the Cayman operations, unlike a Popeyes or any of the other local restaurants, they don't have to follow very, very strict protocol. Right. So, depending on who you get, like he said, he got connections. So when he called them, they can answer the phone. They're not answering me. But, at the end of the day, one of his, he might know the girl because she goes every single day, who behind the counter, and he might be like, hey, give me a little bit of extra oxtail and gravy and whatever. And so while they're because when you get chicken, some people like oxtail gravy, right? But they charge you extra for that. She might give him a blight because she know him. When you work for these franchises, they are watching you. They got cameras, they got procedures. And if you start to give people a blight and this, that, and the next thing, well, you're going to be out of a job. This person makes this comment. KFC in London used to charge extra for even 1 packet of ketchup. I'm just saying. Another person says, well, leave him be, and that is his choice to choose to purchase food from wherever he pleases. The fast food also has to pay huge franchise fees, right? And Corna's not having them expenses. Call in, don't make a difference. I call and I still have to go there and wait. Speaking about but he got the fast number, so he don't have to wait. Yes, I mean that's why it's called fast food in a way, because I don't want to go and wait half an hour to be able to get one little plate of oxtail either. So, but someone else shared some screenshots from Popeyes. And I don't know if this is Popeyes in Cayman or overseas. I want to clarify that with them. But they show you when you order a sandwich, I'm guessing this is probably the international site, that anytime you add on different things, it clearly shows you here on the website, classic deluxe sandwich. It comes with mayo, lettuce, tomato, cheese, and bacon. And then I guess if you add something else onto that, you're going to pay. And here you go. Let me just show you this. They show you add-ons. If you want to do bacon, American cheese, that's an extra 75 cents. Havarti cheese, lettuce, and tomato. The only thing I need to clarify if that is the local site. Caller, good morning.
One again, Sandra.
Yes, boy. Sir.
Okay.
I think it's just the restaurant business. Like,
no, man, well, I not call about that. I called you some stuff since everybody knows it.
Oh, you got more stuff for me?
Well, who knows me, right? And then I'll call out who I is. But everybody should know who the person is talking anyway. But yeah, the family business or the business that I used to run.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know.
Hold on. Mm-hmm. But let me present this so your people can have some facts on the mall road, right? It was a family business. It was an auto part. Yeah. It was semi-successful, but it has a lot of different mechanisms in the background that I don't want to disclose on the radio. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, put it this way.
Like most
my
businesses.
father passed away. Mm-hmm. And the business was sold. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't about the business wasn't good, and because we were trying to help people and absorb some of the costs why the business failed. It was nothing like that. If you knew the full story, you would say something different. But I cannot. I don't need to divulge a full story here of my whole history. I'm just giving you an idea. It was a good business that sold. It did not die and go on and just die at a lonely death. It was a good business that sold that I helped to run. Mm-hmm. It was a family business, but I was the one who running it in the last. My father was sick.
Okay.
And I took over the business. And when he passed, the business sold. Mm-hmm. So for the ones who saying, oh, if it was a great business, still be running now. That's not how things always go.
No. Well, we didn't say that. We said we were curious.
As to what happened to your business. But they said it in a way, sarcastic in a way, to say, well, if it was a good business, it would still be around. But not every day people set their alarm clock. That means that they're going to wake up. Life don't work perfect. That's all I'm saying. But the next thing too, I have my choice. I gave an opinion about something that I felt that affected me, not the whole world. Yeah? So people could put their opinion on it, right? But they can't change mine. Mine is, if the food don't make sense, I'm not going to spend $1 on it. I would never ever buy a head of lettuce, and nobody here would either if they started for $60 a head of lettuce. I would never buy that. So showing it to me and I doing the math and realize, hey, that's what you're doing to me, and I stop shopping with you, don't feel disgruntled. Do not feel bad. It's just my choice. You have other customers.
Well, nobody not feel, I don't think nobody not feeling bad. You know, we're just explaining it.
Yeah, but it's the way how they're coming at it. But I'm just letting you know, it is my choice to look at the real. Okay, I do sales and marketing right now. That's my job for the last 20 years. Yeah. So when I see certain things that ain't matching, I ain't gonna keep on subscribing to it. I'm gonna change it out. And that's all it is. There's always a cost of doing business. People getting business every day. People absorb costs. People pass on costs. It's all about business. But everybody have a choice. And my choice is not to spend any more money with them when it comes to that, because I feel it's a highway robbery. That's all.
All right.
I could be wrong, but that's my opinion.
That's no problem.
That's my opinion, Sandra. That's all it is. But I just want to clarify about the business thing that I used to run. That's what happened with that. Yeah. Maybe the next day when I see you again, because I see you, but you don't know I see you, but I see you. So you live very close too, you know.
Okay.
But like I said, one of these days I'll disclose what happened exactly with that business, and I hope you don't put it on the air because it's something personal. Yeah.
All right. No problem, my dear. Thanks very much.
Well, you have a good one.
You too.
Yeah, man,
all right. Bye-bye. All right, folks. And that's really the beauty of life, is we all have choices ultimately. Strong Milk says to own a business is not easy, no matter what business it is, especially the small business. Anthony says, due to Michael Miles' cost of living will be out of reach. By increasing wages and the tariffs war that was crazy to do, wasn't he watching the international news? I keep saying the out of control cost of living will be detrimental to the current government in the 2029 polls. Well, we're certainly going to have them come on to the program, hopefully, and discuss this. Well, we know Michael Miles won't be coming, but anybody else? He does have speaking of that, Mr. Miles, he does have a permanent secretary. I understand that Wayne Panton is his permanent secretary, and you guys know that Mr. Panton has been on the program numerous times. So perhaps what he could do is send Mr. Panton in his place, because we do need to have discussions around, WRC and the fees and stuff like that. So he doesn't want to do podcasts, he says, but clearly Mr. Panton has never had an issue coming on this program. So we'd love to have him on soon. My apologies. Andrew says, back in the day, Sheila's restaurant, remember Miss Sheila? Made the best burgers with everything, flat price. Supermarkets selling meals now today, almost $9 a pound, but so much. Salmon, $17 a pound. We better start growing vegetables in our backyard. But listen to me now, Andrew, Miss Sheila hasn't been around for probably about 30 years. You don't think a lot has happened in 30 years regarding the cost of every single good? All I know is I don't never see the cost of anything coming down. I can tell you that. YouTuber says, I wish people would put themselves in the business's position and ask themselves how much they would sell their item for. Lord, stop complaining or just go cook. Like I said, it does come down to choices, and there's certain things that, listen, I understand the caller's perspective. If you feel like that's too much, you don't want to pay, you don't have to pay it. That's the beauty of it. Not a single one of you is being forced. Nobody don't have a baton or a cowitch over you telling you better go to Burger King, you better go to Popeyes. That is called a choice. And in fact, it is a choice that only first world people, first world problems like us really ultimately have. Real poor people don't know nothing about them fast food places, huh? They don't know nothing about no restaurant food. They better figure out how to put a little slop together at home. And so you also have the choice to stay home and cook. That's always a choice too. Now, I gotta be honest with you. If you think cooking is any cheaper, you need to do your grocery shopping and put a value on your time. You see, most people just think they look at one singular thing, the list of ingredients. Okay, I got to make some curry chicken, Auntie Sandy's. I got to buy the chicken. I got to buy the thyme. What else you going to put in your curry chicken, depending on how y'all do it. You got to put some spinners in there for me, so you need some flour. Miss Stacy keeps saying that nobody don't eat curry chicken with spinners in it, but me and Marlon's cousin, apparently. I didn't ask y'all this question. Am I the only one who likes curry chicken with spinners? I'm just saying. Spinners go good with everything. Curry chicken, stewed chicken. What else? And a kind of chicken like that, man. Spinners be good. Anyway, so you got your whole list of ingredients, your seasoning. So yeah, you got salt and pepper. That'll last you a good long time if you buy it large enough. Right? And then if you had to pay yourself, right? So if you figured, what am I worth per hour? Now, y'all know I don't come cheap. I'm worth a lot per hour, honey child. What do you think this is? If I had to think about my time, I couldn't afford to put a price on that dish. That wouldn't make any sense. Now, it makes sense because you're not paying yourself and you're not worried about the time. You don't have to pay yourself a salary. You're not paying yourself any benefits. You don't have any overhead. If you consider the overhead that you have, the gas that you're using or electricity, right? Filter in mortgage, cut out. That's your restaurant. That's your location. You see, we don't look at it that way. There's a lot. If we were to try to put together a comprehensive list of the cost of everything involved in running a business, licenses, permits, inspections. These restaurants have to do food inspections, equipment, furnishing, renovations and build out, rent, lease, deposits, inventory control. So yes, when you have wastage, which any business that is like inventory based will have some degree of wastage, they need to factor that in as well, whether it's due to food spoilage or theft. So retail businesses, that's something they always have to take into consideration and how they mark up their stuff. The working capital that you need to survive operating a business, payroll, utilities, insurance, right? So they have to pay a business insurance. They have to have, what's the other one called? Not indemnity insurance, but the third party one where if you slip and fall, what's that one called again? But that insurance, y'all know what I mean. So there's a lot involved in it. Heaven forbid you have rent increases. You have a few slow weeks, weather, you have equipment failures, so you got all these things that come into consideration when you're looking at your cost. 90% of operators in the food industry report that food cost increases in 2025 impacted them. So most of them saw between 1% to 5% increases on top of prior inflation. Cayman would be even higher than that, right? One survey of restaurants found that food prices jumped an average of 29% compared with the previous year. That's in the United States of America. And you guys know Cayman has a trickle-down effect. Food inflation is now rated the number one concern by a majority of restaurant operators ahead of labor. Make that sink in for a hot minute. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. Is that me?
Hello, honey child. Yes, ma'am. That's you.
Hello. Well, good morning to all your listening audience. And it is a beautiful day outside.
Oh,
this
my
morning.
gosh. Nice.
I hope everyone remembered this morning to give God thanks.
Yes.
Because it is a beautiful day. No matter how much they complain, we are blessed.
Yep.
Anyway, I have a different little twist this morning.
Okay.
And I agree with some of the stuff that you guys are saying. I agree with the caller that called in about paying extra, because when you go and you order food and you get 2 little packets of ketchup, they can ask, if you need more, they charge you $25. I know McDonald's charged $25. No, I'm getting like you now, $75. 25 cents for 3 extra packets. Anyway, last night I went to McDonald's. I love McDonald's chicken. I don't love when it's fried over. I love when it's fried fresh. I let them know when the oil is bad, because sometimes I work very late and I just stop in there and get a piece of chicken, because I love their chicken. I'm not too good with Popeyes nor Kentucky, but I love me a McDonald's. So I went there last week. I got a 2-piece, and I asked for 2-piece. Breasts. I usually get breast and leg. And I opened it before I leave. And the little leg that was into the chicken looked, the little drummet that cut off of the wing part of the wing. That was what it looked like in the chicken. Anyway, I said to them, I said to the lady, I said, Miss, you guys can compromise. If you're paying for a 2-piece, breast and leg, I said, oh my gosh, I said, this looked like a 1-piece. I said to her. Anyway, I said, it's okay. I hope they are able to compromise with people, not just me. If the little chicken leg is so tiny, they could, to keep their customers happy and keep their customers coming. Anyway, I said to her, I said, it's okay. I just take it and went. I went there just last night, and I ordered a 2-piece leg. When I got my 2-piece leg. I checked it. And they know how I like my chicken. I don't have to say it any longer because they know me. And when I checked the chicken, the same way, 2-piece leg, and it looked like 2 of the little drumettes. And I said to the lady, I said, Miss, I said, look at this. I showed her and she shook her head. I said, I'm not going to argue tonight. I said, I'm not going to say anything at all. I just left the chicken and walked out. I didn't argue because I feel, okay, if you are paying for something, you don't mind paying for it. If it costs you 50 cents more, $1 more, that is me.
Yes.
I will pay the extra without any argument at all.
Yes, I'm like
Even
that
though
too.
sometimes they will say that you are aggressive because you speak up on certain things. But I thought it was my right as a customer to let them know. I said, listen, you can sometimes compromise with the customer if the customer is paying for something. My God, I say it doesn't even make sense for me to take this. I didn't stay and argue or anything. I just left it there and walked out. And I think that was probably, it saddened me and it hurt me because I was out. This was 9 o'clock last night. And I didn't get home yet from work. So I just stopped. I said, let me get this chicken and I'll be okay when I get home. I can go to bed after. Anyway, I just left it and walked out. I said to the lady, I said, Miss, I don't have anything to say tonight. So when the conversation strike up this morning about paying extra for your condiments or whatever, you know, I say it's a total opposite of what happened with me last night. I had to call in this morning. So I feel that
yeah, I'm like that too, caller. Like, listen, because you know what food, because you know I love my food. And my position is if I'm in the mood for something, don't mess with me and my food.
Right.
And if I feel like I want something and it's not on the menu, it's an add-on, because sometimes it's like the staff, I think, be like, they don't know sometimes, because, you know, sometimes they get ignorant people, I'm not going to pay for that. I tell them that's fine. If I say I want to add this on, I know that comes at additional cost. I don't have no problems paying it. I will pay it. But you want your food how you want your food. That is one thing that you're not going to be mucking up when it comes to me, is give me what you think you want to give me, or if I give you specific instructions about it. And I get it, because sometimes I go with Marlon, he'd be like, oh God, you so picky. You so picky when you go out to restaurants. And it's not that picky.
Stop it, Mommy. I said, no.
But look, especially when I'm hungry, you know, geez, I'm peace. That even worse, because then I know I'm not willing to compromise too much if I'm really hungry. But thank you so much, caller, for those comments. Yeah.
You have a wonderful day, Sandy, and everyone else.
I appreciate it. Thanks, you too. So Anthony says McDonald's needs to stop using that best dressed chicken. It's not good for commercial use. Really? The portions are too small and the chicken is too expensive to give clients a decent portion. But I thought the best dressed chicken was supposed to be the best. What are you saying? Ms. Dawn, good morning. Says it's like sometimes when you order all spicy and they say we will give you half original and half spicy. Yeah, no, man. When somebody, like, you know, there's certain parts of chicken that I'm not really all that fond of. I'm a leg and thigh kind of person. I'm a dark meat person. And sometimes I just want legs. So, you know, even when I go to Popeyes, I always say leg and thigh. I don't want nothing else. To be like, no, we only got back. And no. When will that be ready? So, you know, Shamika says, I love McDonald's. It's the best, but I have experienced the same thing. That's why I stopped ordering. All right, let's do a few rapid comments, because then I got to go, honey child. I got a tech call waiting for me so I can figure out my board from last week. I need to adjust some settings. Let me see here now. Rennie says cost of living has gone up. Businesses have to adjust prices accordingly, and businesses cannot absorb or operate at a loss. Well, that's they're not going to be in business long if that's the case. I can tell you that. Minimum wage has gone up. Businesses had to adjust their pricing accordingly, and businesses cannot operate at a loss. I think I read that one already. Sorry. And he goes on to say that businesses need to find ways to try and remain competitive. And one option is to implement add-on or charge a higher cost for add-ons and charges. So yes, they have to look at, as their costs go up, they're going to have to look at, where they can make adjustments and still try to remain competitive, which is something that is not easy to do. Anthony says Sandy sure can throw down that Caymanian accent when she's talking to a true Caymanian. Take that. And like I said, that's it's not a conscious thing that you do, but yes, we were talking about this last week, right? When we were talking about Zosha and stuff like that. So yes, I do. I'm aware of it, but I'm aware that most people probably do that to some extent. And then some people only hang out with Caymanians, so they sound the same all the time. But yeah, I do. Point taken. And yes, when I'm around like American family or friends, then the American twang comes out a little bit more. It's called mirroring. You as human beings, we naturally mirror behavior, and we do that to kind of fit in. Listen, will somebody remind me tomorrow to talk about the little monkey? What's his name? His mother abandoned him. And so they gave him this little stuffed monkey to walk around with, and he's so attached to his monkey. But they're trying to integrate him into living with the pack, right? Because they're all in captivity. And for his own survival, he's got to know how to navigate that. Poor little tank Punch. His name is Punch. Poor little Punch. He's having such a hard time. It looks like he's starting to get better, or they're starting to accept him a little bit more. They're starting to groom him and little stuff. Punch is so cute. But, again, we all primates do it. We all mirror each other's behavior. And the only thing that you have to be careful with mirroring behavior, this is where you got to watch your children, is they will easily mirror bad behavior. And that's what you don't want. You can mirror positive or neutral behavior, accents, whatever, but they also very quickly pick up on mirroring bad behavior. Mm-hmm. That's why your children be watching you 24/7. Data Plane 1 says in Europe, you have to pay for all condiments, including ketchup. None are free. Take that. Aliano says, shout out to Tilly's with their $90 plate of snapper. What the? $90? Go east. The fish is better. That was a ripoff to the tourists that came here from Palm Heights. $90 for snapper? For a plate of snapper? What else is on the plate? Gabby says, is that snapper wrapped in gold? No, sir. You better believe it. Cayman Maryland says, ages ago, I asked Champion House for extra plantain. They said it'd be $1. And then I got one slice of plantain to ras. No, sir. Cheapest food you can buy is plantain and bananas. Well, listen, now, I love plantain, but these days I don't be trying to ask for no extra. But $1 for one piece? At least give me 2 little pieces now. And you know what? This is why I say cook at home, because you can cook all the plantain you want. What a mess. Ooh, speaking of food, Miss Stacy reliably informed me yesterday that my local mango tree, because we got East India and all these other mangoes around here that I don't know nothing about them. I have wanted a local mango tree of my own forever. So Marlon planted one for me a couple years ago, and I was kind of suspicious. I wasn't sure that was the right tree. But last year we got like 2 or 3 on it. I'm like, yeah, this is my little common mango that I like. So she has reliably informed me. She was out in the garden yesterday, and she said the mango tree is going to be loaded. My little tree, as tiny as it is, full of buds, and is going to be loaded this year. I cannot tell you how happy I am about that. I am tickled pink, as they say, because this is fantastic. Oh my God. I cannot wait for mango season to come around, because I can get my salt and pepper and a little seasoning ready. And yeah. Mangoes, here I come, honey, chill. All right. Andrew says the Cayman Islands and the Caribbean have become addicted to fast food franchises. We have all choices in life. And when it comes to food, health, and contributions to good health, obesity and diabetes, heart problems, high blood pressure, prominent, health is wealth. Have we seen the amount of deaths recently? Yes. And once again, Anthony, we all have choices. And that's what it's about. Anthony says, like A.L. Thompson's never took off the delivery charges of $25 they put in place during COVID. I tried to avoid ordering anything for delivery from them. They should do a cost analysis and prorate the operational cost per a delivery truck. If they make $10 to bring my sheet of plywood, that costs me $250. Well, listen, most places will charge you a delivery fee. And I think, to be fair to L. Thompson's, they hadn't for most of the time that they have been in business. And so they recognize as a result of COVID, and yes, they continued, that there is a cost to doing that delivery. And given the cost of gas alone, and by the way, they only do curbside delivery. They're not bringing it up in your house. So you better have someone who can accept it. I mean, I don't have an issue paying a delivery fee. I understand the logistics of, they're saving me, because I think about it this way. If I had to go source a truck or somebody else to go pick it up and deliver it, and I got to pay more than that. Have you ever tried to get any of these delivery companies? You're not going to get them to do nothing for you for less than $25 or even for $25. That's not going to happen. So, you got to pick and choose, shop around. I have a delivery guy that I use for most of my stuff. And the other day he was busy and he gave me somebody else's number. I was like, damn. That made me appreciate how reasonable his prices were. I was like, I'm not doing that again. Strong Will says Kirk still isn't charged for delivery. Okay. But what is Kirk's delivering? I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like A.L. Thompson's probably has a lot of deliveries all over the island. I'm not too sure about Kirk's, so I can't tell you much about him. Let me see here. Final comments coming in. Even the mobile car wash guys have gone up. But I don't mind because they do an excellent job. Granted, the drive-through car washes are cheaper, but don't be clean the same and fine scratches appear. Gabby says, I used to buy the bag of Best Dress, but now it's like buying a bag of chips. Mostly air and no chicken. Lord Jesus. Okay. Lie that great Cayman burger was the best, followed by Miss Sheila's. Miss Sheila would have been around when I was very, very young. So obviously I knew her, and she actually knew my Aunt Lottie, and they lived in Tampa. Her, Miss Jan, they were always in Tampa. So I feel like they had a home or something there at one point. So I didn't actually know Jeff. Although we're probably very close in age. I think he might be a little bit older. I knew of him. I heard Miss Sheila had a son named Jeff, but I didn't actually know him. And then Miss Jan and Miss Sheila, they used to visit my aunt and stuff sometimes. So back in those days in Tampa, like I said, there was a community. And although my aunt grew up in the States, a lot of people didn't necessarily know her. There was a few knew that she was from Boilers Road area. So, Georgetowners, how we flex. We all won regardless. So she would, they would take her, like whatever little seasoning she wanted from Cayman. And she'd be like, y'all got any lobster? She had no Caymanian accent whatsoever, because she left when she was so young and she lived in the States for so long. And she had a very Southern drawl. So this person says, we absolutely agree with him that he has the right to choose where he patronizes. No, you did not say slop. That sounds terrible. Never heard of curd chicken with spinners, but I love them at Oxdale. Oh yeah, Oxdale too. We'll put spinners in that too. Liability, insurance, workers' comp. Yep. I hope she got her money back from before she left McDonald's. To that last caller. Parker's Ace Card Quest has free delivery for purchases $25 and up. Ace, what is Card Quest? What do they do? I'm not familiar with that one. Best dressed chicken are smaller because they're not full of all the steroids and chemicals that the other brands are injected with. Somebody said spinach are put in curry every now and again instead of potatoes. I mirror also a little too well. The problem with Cayman business owners is that they quickly raise prices, but are very slow in lowering even when government removes the fees. This I'm telling you, nobody ever lowers prices, honey jam. Who do you use to wash your car? My guy is on rollover and my tendons restrained during my hand surgery, so limited movement. I'll send you my guy. And I have a standing appointment with him Saturday mornings. He comes early, washes my car before I go on the road. Because you know what Aunt Lotta used to say? Don't be going on the road looking scruffy in your little ride. So she got to be shining at least once for the week. But then, of course, same time he washes, it rains. Yeah, listen, everybody got choices and you just got to decide. You know what? I have been in business now. Let me think. For my little TV boxes, right? I have been doing that at least since, what year are we in now? 2026? Gosh, at least 10 years, maybe 11 years. And we have not raised our price by 1 penny. But it's not a business that has high overhead. So you see, this is where it makes a difference, right? When I was in Pasadora Place, I decided that I didn't want the overhead of that because, of course, that was eating up what little money I was making. So I decided to give that up. Business owners likewise have decisions and choices to make. So as a business owner, rent, biggest overhead. Staff to sit there, because once you're open, you got to have regular hours, and I can't be sitting there 24/7 during the regular hours, so I need to hire somebody, right? CUC, water bill. What else I had? Insurance, right? Not just the cost of my goods that I import. And like I tell people, I don't actually, it's so funny because people don't get this, but you know, you have to understand the business, and this is where business owners will know what items they can mark up and what they can't mark up. So the devices have gone up slightly because my suppliers, what they have on offer and their price has gone up. But basically my cost, my device cost for that business is almost a pass-through cost. So what I mean by that is I'm not making no profit. I basically cover the cost of the goods, which includes my customs duty and shipping. But where I make money is monthly recurring, right? So keeping my customers. And this is another reason why I don't tend to, like some people come, oh, can I just buy a box? And I said, no. Because that's not, I don't make any money on you buying a box. If you want to buy a box, go on Amazon and buy it. And you'll see that you're actually going to pay more on Amazon than you would from me, right? And so, you know, there's a cost to all of these things. Listen to Strong about Auntie, you can afford it. And you see, that is the mistake y'all be making. Y'all be looking at people making assumptions about what they can afford and what they can't afford. No, it's just that it's one of those things that I haven't had to increase for my customers. And so I keep it extremely competitive. Now, that doesn't mean that other things that I do might be as competitive, you know, but thankfully I'm not in a the businesses that I'm in are not businesses that tend to have very high overhead. So I do have a little bit more control over my price point. But I'll tell you a little story is when, when I, whatchamacallit, when I first started Roque, I remember that there was a guy, may he rest in peace, Simpson. What was his name again? He had a little electronics store there in Elizabethan Square. Can't remember his name now, his first name. It'll come to me. Poor thing, he died in his early 40s. I couldn't believe it, of just a massive heart attack. Lifestyle choices, honey child. What was his name? He's actually really good friends with Shamari as well. You know, I know Shamari. If Shamari was here, he'd know his name. His proper name was Simpson, but he had some other little name. But anyway, he was doing a similar business, and he charged double the price that we would. So when we came in, we were at 50% of his price. We had his customers coming over to us, not just because of the price, but sometimes because of his lack of customer service. And I remember years ago, I can remember his face and everything, but I can't remember his name now. Years ago, one of his customers who happened to be married to one of the judges, right? She came in and she said, he does something that I think is so dishonest and it really, really bothers me. And I said, really? Like when people would come in complaining about him, I would listen, but I'm not commenting. You don't comment on the competition. How you beat the competition is you just provide better pricing if you can. And most importantly, better service, keep your customers happy. So she said to me that what he used to do, Keratin, what was his nickname again? He went by something else too, Keratin Simpson. Yeah. Anyway, what Keratin used to do is he would say, oh, it's $99 a month, right? So somebody naturally would hand him $100 bill or $250s. They're not gonna hand you $99 normally. And do you know that he would never give his customers change? So this one lady was like, imagine if he did that, 100 times for the month, not giving people change back. He need to have change on hand. And I was like, I agree. I mean, if you can say something is $99, it's not $100. You need to give people $1 back. But he would do that. Poor Keratin. What a hot mess. He would do that. And when she mentioned it, I just kind of chuckled because I said, boy, that's some bamboos in there for you. Anywho, folks, I got to run. Have yourselves a beautiful day. Another accident again. What is this? Lord have mercy. Bobby Thompson Way. Is it an accident or just a picture? This is why people need to stop going through the lights and blocking traffic. The ambulance couldn't pass just now, as you see. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I see the ambulance now in the background. What a mess. They got the traffic all backed up. Lord have mercy. I tell you. Yes, liability insurance. That was the term I was looking for. So a lot of businesses, have to have liability insurance as well. You go in there and slip and fall. You're going to be trying to sue them. And you're not going to take burgers as payment. So there you go. Anywho, got to get on a tech call. You guys have a beautiful, fantastic day. See you tomorrow morning. Please know that tomorrow's Wednesday. I'm in court. Y'all don't make me forget now. Somebody remind me, which means that I may do like a video at the end of the show. Maybe I'll do the interview with Mr. Calvin. All right. So let's plan on that, because the show has got to end on time tomorrow. And I need to get, on the road in case there's any kind of traffic or anything like that. All right, beautiful folks. See you tomorrow morning at 7:30. Rise and shine early. Until then, tune in this evening at 5 p.m. for Sabrina Speaks. From 5 until 7 p.m. I was listening to her yesterday explaining some amendments to the immigration, I can't remember exactly which piece of bill, but another immigration bill about who is a Caymanian. So if you missed that, please go tune into her. Sabrina does a phenomenal job explaining a lot of these nuances in the legislation. And I feel like class is in session with her. And you better be a good student paying attention. So have a fantastic day. We'll see you guys 5 to 7 with Sabrina Speaks this evening. And of course, I will see you tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.